Hey, it's been a while since we talked about one of these Dragon Ball games. And, well, we've been getting a lot more Budokai Tenkaichi 4, Sparking Zero information now. So I thought I should pick up the pace a little bit and try to get through more of these Dragon Ball games. And for this video, we are covering a Dragon Ball game that I think is a little bit more on the underrated side of things. And that's Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit. So yeah, like I said, I think Burst Limit is one of the more underrated Dragon Ball games, because I literally never hear anyone talk about it, like, ever. And when it is mentioned, it is literally just to glaze the graphics, and that's it. Which is kind of a shame, because the gameplay itself is actually pretty good. The gameplay is kind of in that, like, Budokai style, so it's a 3D fighter, which means that you can sidestep and stuff. And you can pull off combos in pretty much the same sort of way. And of course you've got your signature Dragon Ball special moves and stuff. Oh, and when you knock back opponents, you can also like teleport behind them and keep comboing them like that. Oh, and of course a really cool thing is that you can also transform mid-fight if you have enough ki. So that's always cool. A lot of the core gameplay mechanics that we saw in the Budokai games are here. But of course the big thing here is the new mechanics. And this includes stuff like how in fights, if you knock back the opponents in a certain angle on the stage, you can actually like hit them so fucking hard that you knock them into the air. And your character like chases them and you continue the fight in the sky, which is pretty cool. Because like it also changes how the fight plays out. Like you can set up unique combos up there that you wouldn't be able to pull off on the ground. And yeah, I don't know, it's just a cool mechanic in my opinion. And there's also this like new sort of surge mode kind of mechanic, where if your ball's full, where if you have a full bar of ki, you can activate it, and you're basically like on steroids for a few seconds. You have like little mini armor, and you do slightly more damage, and you can also teleport behind the opponent. But the really cool thing about this mechanic is that you can hit the opponent into a pursuit attack. That's pretty much like the Dragon Rush from the Budokai games, where you like launch the opponent and you get into this little button mashing competition. And the other big mechanic that this game introduces is the partner system.
Hold on, I'm coming!
After you pick the character that you want to play with, you then get asked which character you want your partner to be. And the partners in this game, you can't switch to them mid-fight. You actually can't even really use them at all. Instead, what happens is that this game uses like a sort of perk system, where you could use like certain skills mid-fight. And this is stuff like if you're in a match and you're getting your ass beat, your partner can come in and break the combo. Or if like you're about to die, your partner can throw you a senzu bean. Or they could also just give you words of encouragement. Thanks, I guess. Bruh. There's also other skills you can use for, like, if you're gonna get hit by a beam, you can have a skill that'll just deflect it for you. And most of them are just stuff like that. But the weird thing is that you can't actually like do them on command. Like, I never actually willingly activated them on purpose. They would just happen by themselves. And I'm not sure if they're supposed to be like that, but yeah, that's how they were. So I think they're a cool mechanic, but sometimes they just happen way too frequently and like for no reason. And it sort of just messes up the flow sometimes. So yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of these things, but they do look cool at least. And speaking of looking cool, let me just glaze this game's graphics real quick.
Oh my god, bro, is dick riding all you do?
I genuinely still think that this game is one of the better looking Dragon Ball games to have come out. I think it even looks better than games like Xenoverse, and even like Raging Blast 2. I think that this game looks so much better than those games. Like, the art direction in this game is just so good, and it definitely still holds up. Like, I can't believe that this was a PS3 and Xbox 360 game, because this looks better than stuff that's on the PS4 and PS5. Breakers. Bruh. Like, even the cutscenes in this game, I'd say look almost as good as the cutscenes from like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And whatever your thoughts are on Kakarot, at least we can all agree that that game's cutscenes were amazing. And this game's graphics aren't too far from it. And that's super impressive for a game that's from this generation of consoles. Even little things like the character renders look like they belong in a museum. Also, I love how you can pretty clearly tell that these were inspired by the manga. Like those Toriyama drawings where he would like contrast the darker skin tones with the brighter highlights. It just looks so good. Also, something about Super Saiyan in this game made me feel a little off, and I think I just noticed what it is. I think they gave Super Saiyan in this game pupils, which, wow, now I just can't unsee it. Although there is one little gripe that I have with this game's graphics, and it's how, like, in the stages, the background looks kind of blurred out for some reason. And I mean like really blurred out. Like if they just went in and put a diffuse filter on the stages. And it's not too distracting, but it does look kind of odd. Yeah, they probably should have turned that down just a little bit. Alright, let's talk about this game's story mode now. And yeah, just as you'd imagine, this game also goes through the story of Dragon Ball Z again. Yeah, pretty big shocker there. But yeah, the story mode goes from the Saiyan Saga all the way up to Cell. Yeah, there's no Buu Saga in this game.
Huh?
And I'm not really sure why there's no Buu Saga in this game. Maybe the devs just ran out of time or something. Or maybe they just wanted to save it for a sequel. Yeah, that never happened. And not including the Buu Saga really leaves out a lot of stuff that I wish would be in this game. No Vegito, no Buu Tanks, no Ultimate Gohan, none of the Boos are here. And you know, of course we do have the characters from Saiyan to Cell Saga, but it definitely makes the game feel like there's not as much content as there should be. But yeah, now back to the story mode. The story mode is, as you'd imagine, you know, you just fight against the usual opponents in chronological order with some pretty cool cutscenes in between. And probably the most unique part of this is just the drama scenes. During the fights, if you fulfill certain conditions, like if you land a specific move, a little special cutscene will play out. That's a reference to, you know, obviously what happened in the story. So that's pretty cool. Although you can't skip them, so if you don't really want to watch it, too bad, I guess. But yeah, aside from that, this story mode is nothing too special. Except that when you complete the story mode 100%, you'll unlock 2 secret sagas, with one of them being for Broly and the other one for Bardock. And for the Broly one, it's pretty cool, although we did kind of see it before. In Tenkaichi 1 and Budokai 3, there's these what if scenarios where Broly actually wins, and he just kills everyone. And pretty much the exact same thing happens here. And after the last fight, when we beat up Goku, we see that he unlocks Super Saiyan 2, which, wow, what a way to blue ball us, because we can't actually play as him.
How the fuck would you show me something if I couldn't have it?
And the first fight in the Bardock Saga goes over what happens in, you know, the Bardock special. And the rest of the fights are him just meeting the Z Fighters and fighting them, until he eventually gets to Goku, which, actually, this is a really cool cutscene. I like this one. Actually, surprisingly, I don't think I've seen too many games actually have a mission where Bardock meets Goku. I mean, Raging Blast 1 had that one mission where he met Gohan and Goten, but he never actually met Goku. But he does meet him here, so yeah, I actually do really like this one. And of course, you unlock both characters after this, so yeah, and Bardock and Broly are here too. That's pretty neat. But yeah, aside from that, that is pretty much all that this game really has to offer in terms of content. I mean, there are the trial modes that are pretty much just like 3 game modes that are in the other games as well. Like the survival mode where you go through as many fights as you can without losing. And the time attack mode where you try to win fights as fast as you can. And the last one just being a mode where you can like try to get as many points as you can by winning fights. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, this game is really light on content compared to most of the other Dragon Ball games we've covered, and I think that's really the biggest downside of it. Because the game is good, the gameplay is really solid, there's just not that much content in it. There's really not much variety in terms of like the roster, or even, there's just not that many game modes at all. And you know, I'm not really expecting like a Tenkaichi 3 size roster. But I feel like this game definitely would have benefited a lot from having the Buu Saga characters and, well, just even having the Buu Saga at all. Because without it, it does feel like it's a little bit unfinished. But yeah, for what it is, Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit is really good. It is a good game, 100%. The gameplay is really similar to the Budokai games while still being its own thing and, having its own unique mechanics. And they're not always the best things ever, but for the most part, the gameplay is really fun, especially when you get good at doing combos and everything. And like I said, the graphics are amazing. I've already glazed that into oblivion. Also the music, I didn't really mention the music, but the music in this game is pretty good. There's some good bangers here and there. But yeah, I like this game, and I genuinely do think that it deserved a lot better than what it got. If they made a Burst Limit 2 with all of the Boo Saga content included, and just tweaked some of the mechanics a little bit, I think a sequel definitely would have been one of the best Dragon Ball games in my opinion. But yeah, for what it is, I enjoyed this game. It's pretty good, and yeah. Thanks for watching. See ya. さえ